Alright, we're going to do a quick troubleshooting guide on your steam coils and your steam system. This is going to be one of our heating coils for the tanks. The only difference is going to be is the size of the coils and how many's in a row. Each tank here has a heating coil. Most of your calls are going to be no steam. Keep in mind, it's a steam system. It goes through coils that wrap around in there. Your biggest problem is going to be water. That's 100% of the time when it comes to everything out here working correctly. You just waterlogged. Usually you have some kind of a valve to release that water. One will release the water going in, one releases the water coming out, but that's for the whole system. These don't have their own dedicated. However, quick way to check when they say, hey, I got no heat. Easiest way, check your pipe. See if it's hot coming in. Obviously it's going to be hot. You got steam. If it's not hot, you don't got steam to any of them. You know damn well none of them's working. Your generator's off or your line's turned off. I always first check to see if it's actually on. Easy way to check, take you something metal, knife, anything, and touch on the top right here. If you feel it vibrating, you're probably on. I always usually check underneath here and make sure there ain't no gap right underneath here. If there's a gap because someone took that retainer off and it's gapped up, it's not going to push down, pull the coil up, you're not going to get steam. Alright. Now, you got that. You don't have a gap. Feel over here. Is it hot? And like I said, tap it. Don't hold it, tap it. It'll burn. If it's not hot, then, and we got a magnetic field up here, your steam solenoid is probably stuck. All these steam solenoids are is steam comes in, there's a little diaphragm in there that, and on your stem here you got just a little button that pushes down on top of the diaphragm system in a little hole. The steam builds up on top and it allows the own steam pressure to hold that diaphragm shut. Once that opens, it opens the hole, allows the diaphragm just to blow through. They're that simple. If you have to, you can always do repairs to that. Shutting off your main valves, unscrew this. You're going to have a little part that falls out. That's okay. You get a new one with your rebuild kits and you rebuild it. However, say you're getting a magnetic pull and you're getting the same heat over here as you are over here. Steam, that means steam is flowing. Well, after it goes through your coils, down through your coils, comes back up, it comes back down and out, and it goes through two more objects. You got your bucket trap. This builds up water in here and it drains it. There's probably more to why the whole system, but that, in a nutshell, that's the simplest way. This little guy here on the front, kind of hard to see, that's where the steam usually runs through. It usually just keeps flowing, creating your system. When the water builds up so high, it'll push up on the float, and the second bottom on here, it'll open up and it'll just let the steam pressure push your water out. This is your return line. I guess I should have said on the get-go. This is your condensate line. After it goes through here, starts cooling and all that, it turns back into water, flows back this line, goes back to your boiler hot well. Now, you can check your temperature on this side, and then check your temperature here, and if you're seeing too much of a drop, you're probably clogged right here. You might not see any at all if you're completely clogged. You're going to get more heat over here, but we're talking a little bit of heat, and that's just because of all the other lines running down your condensate. After it runs out your bucket trap, it comes over. This also has a steam disc here. It's literally just basically picture being a check valve. Basically a check valve. It lets the water go one way and not back. Alright? Always keep in mind you got your valves. Always make sure your valves are open. I should have started with that. Make sure your right valves are open. You're going to have a valve here in the middle. This is a bypass valve. If you're unsure about this, if you're unsure how to check this, or say your strainer here is clogged up, you can open that bypass valve and see if now you're getting heat to the system. If you are, well, we're back to your solenoid. Your solenoid's your main operating device. Now, say you come back here, you put your metal up on top, you're not feeling no vibration. Sometimes I could just turn it and feel the vibration. You're not feeling no vibration. Well, that means you don't got no power to your solenoid, or your solenoid's bad. Nice, easy to get to. Go up, make sure the operator turned it on. If he turned it on, it says it should be on. We're still not getting nothing. Always check the fuse first. But usually for a fuse to burn up, something's happened. Just common sense there. You just replace your coil. Now, if you ever do want to take this off, turn this off before you pull your, oh look, this one got one on it. I don't even think there's not even a lock on this one. See what I mean? People lose these locks all the time. That this spring must be missing, because this one, nope, it's not. All right, look, see that? This happens all the time. But the spring's off. Your tensioner spring, if it was on there, it would hold this up in the air just a little bit, like that, and it would not connect. A quick trick is, while you're running, if you don't want to go through all changing that out, take you a clamp and put it around it. As long as, or pull that spring off and just set it on there. As long as it's down, it'll pull up on your, it'll pull up on the, I had a brain fart here. I forget what you call it in there. But it'll activate it. How's that? Alright, now, what if their temperature is getting too hot? What do you check for? Obviously, make sure your bypass isn't open. Also, make sure your bypass isn't bleeding through. That happens a lot of times. Or your solenoid's bleeding through. So there's multiple things. Easy way to check. Close your valves going through your solenoid. Also, do that same check. First thing I do when I work on any steam thing, I check. Do I got power going to my solenoid? Because that tells you that this is open and it should be letting steam go through. So if it's getting too hot and you got power, okay, they got it on. It shouldn't be on. They're bypassed something else. So up front on the panel. However, these do go bad and they bleed through. So keep that in mind. All you do is close these valves. If it still heats up, alright, we got a problem with your bypass. Only thing you can really do about that to keep it under temperature until you can replace that valve is to block off your, choke off your exit valves here, your condensate valves. Choke them off and you can slow down the steam flow to bring the temperature back down. Obviously, this cannot be replaced without isolating the line because there's no shutoff valves for it except for your main shutoffs. So that right there is literally a steam system in a nutshell. If you understand what these components do, it's quite simple how to troubleshoot it when one goes wrong. This is your main guide. Now, I'll tell you another trick on these. Say you're not getting steam through, everything seems to be working fine, you even took this apart and replaced the steam, the diaphragm in there, and you put it back on and it's still not working. You pop it back apart and all of a sudden you see these little dimples all through your diaphragm. That's when you want to check down here. Make sure your arrow is in the right direction. They only work one way. Steam solenoids only work one way. The other way, they will just back pressure, and that's all they do. So they will not activate. I don't even think they activate a little bit. They pretty much will not work that way. I do have a couple of videos on how to rebuild those solenoids. I need to get them up online for you guys, but Yeah, like I said, this is how the top of that should look. It should have its plate up there, or sometimes there's a little metal, which I don't see one out here, but there's a little metal cap that goes up here that blocks that in. But this probably does have its spring. Watch. See how it has springy action? That is the correct way that they should be on there. But as you see, everybody loses them. And if you see things like this all twisted, don't worry about it. I mean, as long as that wire's getting connection in there, this is all cosmetics. Yeah, it should look good, but they don't always look good. Let's take a look over here. Like this one, it's broke. But that is not going to stop this from working. Should it be fixed? Yeah, but it's not going to stop it from working. As you see, it's a factory. Things happen. Oh, here's one of those. Right there is one of the other ones. That's one of the other retainers. This little guy right here, this is the one that comes with the rebuild kits. So that's going to be your retainer, that style retainer. You want to have retainers. Without retainers, a good chance you're not going to get a system. This probably don't have one. Nope. So this ain't going to work. See that? Wait, let me see. Yep, and that's got the spring. That little coil. See that little spring coil? If they turn this one on, it's not going to work. Oh, now on an important note, I think I was going to tell you and I forgot. Hey, look, see, this one's all out and everything. Important note. If you got this off there and they turn it on and there is nothing in that thing, you just turn this into a heater. This is just a heater. And it will melt. Seen it many a times. These will melt. You got to make sure that these have something in there. A lot of times, if I'm doing a quick fix back here and I'm not locked out up there, I will just take a screwdriver, a metal screwdriver, and drop in it. As long as you got a piece of metal in there, you turn it into a magnet. Like that is going to be a nothing but a heater, because it's just a coil of wire. That's it. There's no wrong way to hook them up. 2 wires and ground. We'll get that fixed. I might go through here and fix a few of these. Obviously, there's some problems, and we're down today. It'd be a good day to do it. We don't have no steam in the line. But yeah, that's your steam heating system in a nutshell. Like I said, once in a while you will run into these being clogged, but in reality, there shouldn't be that much crap running through your steam system. You should be running a coil guard or something to keep everything clean. But you can loosen one of these up, but make sure you isolate out. You don't want to just open that up and let steam come blowing out. That hurts. And also in those bucket traps, you will have these blowout gaskets. If you are changing them, even with this shut off, you got your valve shut off, you're isolated. Loosen up. You can take moisture bolts out, leave 2 in, step back, tap it with your tap it with a hammer, and let it bust loose and drain down. Don't try to hold that and pull it off. There's water in that, steam, hot steamy water in that, and trust me, when it gets your hand, it hurts. I learned that the hard way. But that should give you a quick rundown on what to do in that situation of getting a call that their tanks aren't heating up.